Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable. Yeah, fresh from my park run victory. Doesn't happen very often, to be fair. I thought I'd do a sort of 10 miler. I'm gonna have to split it up between because I'm eating my kids for food. So I'm running through, you see these woods. So I'm running through Hadley Woods at the moment, and then I will go for brunch, a place called Miracles, which if you're in Cockfosters or you know Cockfosters, you'll know it's a really nice brunch place with the kids. And then I'll continue the second half of my run. I'll probably end at the gym, stretch out. And then I've got a bit of work to do later, annoyingly on a Sunday. It's not fair really. But yeah, some plans I've got to do for next week. But all in all, yeah, really successful week. I'm feeling really nice actually out here. I thought I'd feel a bit achy this morning. I don't. Cold is getting better. You know, I still got a little bit of runny nose, but I feel so much better. So those of you who've been strucken down by this thing, it eventually does go away. You'll be glad to know, but it takes a while, unfortunately. So, yesterday the Pro 4s, Adidas Pro 4s were amazing. Today I've got another amazing shoe on, which is, let me show you, one of my favourite shoes to do these kind of runs in. The Prime X Strung 2, really bouncy, propulsive, but cushioned, and it makes you kind of like fly forward, which is really nice when you've done a race the day before, or run, depending how you look at it. Yeah, so for me, perfect shoes for a day like this. Keep my legs nice and fresh for the long week ahead. So I'll show you a bit of run footage, and I'll also put a little plan of what I've done this week and in the video later, so you can see my mileage and that kind of thing. So hopefully you enjoyed yesterday's video. It's a bit more of a tame one today, but I'll still produce them because I think it's useful for people, particularly those that are marathon training, to see what other people are doing. Hope you agree. Put in the comments how you're getting on with your marathon training, any concerns, any worries, any shoe choices you want to think about. I've got the Neo Zens coming. I've had to buy them, so you know, they're taking a bit longer. Mizuno sent out loads of those ones, you know, with a pebble kind of midsole design to a lot of the YouTubers. So if you see those reviews, normally they've been sent by Mizuno, which isn't a problem, you know, depending on the reviewer, I guess. But for the likes of me, I've had to buy them, so it's taken a bit longer, but I'm eager to see what they're like. I've heard they're really good, easy day recovery run shoes. So, and Mizuno are one of my favorite brands at the moment. They're really smashing it out the park, along with Hoka, and more recently Adidas with the Pro 4, although not if you're a heel striker. Sorry, Paul. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye bye. So as I mentioned in the intro, I'm in the Adidas Prime X Strung 2s today, which are a firm favourite of mine because I like Max Cushion bouncy shoes that propel me forward. And thank God I've got them on at the moment, because I'm going up a hill and in the woods, and I'm getting really good traction, and they are propelling me up this hill. They are a heavy shoe, so those of you who consider that a no-no might want to avoid this shoe. For those of you like me who quite likes training in a heavy shoe, so that when you get to race day you put on your shoes and they feel nice and light, then you'd like this shoe because it's nice and bouncy, slightly bottom heavy. I think Adidas, the old Light Stripe Pro version, was a very dense foam, and when you got 50mm stack like this one, it's always going to be dense. But a great shoe for doing these kind of 10-mile runs where you want to have something that keeps you nice and comfortable, cushioned, keep your legs fresh. Also good for your really long runs, 20 milers, because they keep you cruising along, and they're lovely in that respect. I've run a marathon, the Loch Ness Marathon, in these shoes, and they saved me actually. I hurt my calf during that race, and I think if I had many other shoes on I would have had to give up, but these ones, because of how they propel you forward and cruise, put you into cruise mode, allowed me, despite my injury, just to keep flowing forward. So yeah, got fond memories for these shoes. Saved me that day, almost certain of it. I know one or two of you listeners quite like this shoe. I love the original as well, both the original Prime X and the original Prime X Strung. Love both of those shoes. This one took me a little bit more time to win me around, but once the foam broke, once I started engaging those plates, boy, did it turn me around. I've run some very quick 5Ks, 10Ks in this shoe, and yeah, highly recommend it. Actually quite a versatile shoe really, because you can use it for these longer runs and races. It's not really a recovery day shoe, if I'm being honest. You know, at slower paces, not as good. But really nice shoe to kind of spring along a decent pace. There's a pub, let's show you this. There, great pub. If you're in Cockfosters, the Cock Inn, really nice food in there, but just a nice pub in general. Used to do Thai food. That's more sort of pubby, roast dinners, all that kind of stuff. So a bit more traditional, I guess. It's a popular spot around here for walking. We've got Trent Park very close to us now. What time is it? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, I haven't really got time to go to Trent Park just now. I've got to meet my kids at Miracles, so that'll have to wait. Like I said, this is only the first part of my run, and I split it into two, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, going back to the shoes, really nice and springy, nice and cushioned. They, when they came out, they broke all the rules, even more so than the original, by adding 2 carbon plates and a 50mm sack height. So they broke the World Athletic rules twice, and I don't think Adidas gave a monkeys, to be fair, because it's a concept shoe, and we've seen them before with the Prime X, with the Puma Fast RB, the rule breaker, and which I have actually. I need to race in that shoe. It's that crazy looking shoe, you know, that came out with only 1,000 pairs. I managed to snag one, which I was lucky about. But I haven't really used it much. Crazy. Cost me an arm and a leg, and I haven't used it much. I need to do some running in that shoe. Feels like it might not be the quickest, to be honest. It's very heavy, a bit like this shoe. But yeah, these concept shoes, they just throw in all the technology and see what works and what doesn't work, and then use their findings for, you know, their main shoes. So I dare say with this one, the interesting thing was the foam that was sandwiched between the 2 plates in the Prime X2, because I'm pretty sure that's the same foam they are now using in the Adidas Pro 4. So just shows you what they learn from these things. Right, so we're here now. Here we are, Miracles, and now I'm going to sign off because my kids hate being on camera. See you later. Bye bye. Me again. So I finally made it up to the top of Hadley Common, You can see it over there. I've been for brunch at Miracles, had loads of pancakes and bacon, smoothie and coffee, so I can feel it all in my stomach, which is lovely when you run. Beautiful. But now I'm on my way back, so I've done most of the hill work. It's been a bit of a hill session, this one. I'm up quite a few hills, and now I'm on my way back, and feeling really good today in this Prime X Strung 2. Absolutely no moaning from me today. Feel great. And for those of you who know North London a little bit, Hadley is an incredibly nice place. It's a little village in North London. You've got really nice houses like this, old style gates, regulate the traffic, nice little cottages. You can see on my left now, I'm going past lovely church. Feels like you're not in London basically. And you've got these lovely Georgian houses, my favourite Georgian houses. And yeah, have a look at this one. Gives you some idea. Mental. Yeah, they probably thought I was going to rob it, those two. Oh, get a better view here. Let's have a look. Wow, you can see that. Absolute fabulous buildings from a bygone era, no doubt. Another one. Let's push us through. There you go, look at that. No railings this time. Yeah, these Georgian houses are really lovely. Amazing around here. And so completely out of the budget of most of us, which is fine. This one's for sale though, look. Here we go. Can you see that? Let's have a look. Who's going to be buying this? I'm thinking Paul. I'm thinking you're going to buy this one, right? Yeah? How much, mate? How much spare cash you got? Probably not a lot since you've been buying all these shoes. And now you're going to have to buy this yellow. But it's there if you want it, mate. I'll find you the details and the estate agent. And you can put a bid in. Make sure it's a serious bid out though. I don't want to be embarrassed, okay? And then you have these kind of buildings with plaques on, as you know. And this one, you probably can't read, but her name is Fanny Trollope, and she was an author. What a name. That gets a prize of the name of the day or the year even, Fanny Trollope. I'm going to look her up after this. Oh, an author that used to live in Hadley with the most wonderfully ridiculous name I've heard in a long time. But don't hold that against her, she's probably very good. I might even buy one of her books now and see what she's all about. But yes, so Hadley, we're coming up to the duck pond. It's quite famous around here. The houses continue to be absolutely disgracefully amazing. This one looks like a castle. Yeah, these houses are really amazing combination of huge but really nicely styled old brick buildings. Amazing, kept really well. They used to build houses properly in those days. I sound like a real pedant when I say that, but you know what I mean. Anyone who's got a whole old house, I've got an Edwardian house. They're not Georgian, but Edwardian, and yeah, so much nicer than look at that, it's beautiful with the nice high ceilings. You know, it feels just so much bigger, but I feel just privileged to have a house, full stop, to be honest. So hard nowadays for people to afford anything. So as much as I think these houses are amazing, which they are of course, just to be able to say that you've got somewhere to live with so many homeless people about, it kind of feels almost wrong. that you've got this amount of wealth. Here's the duck pond. And so many people struggling at the moment. You see, where I work in Chelsea, so many homeless people. Yeah, I tend to try and buy them something from Waitrose when I go in. So normally like a protein bar or something. I don't give them money because I just wonder what they're going to spend that on. But if I can give them food, at least I know they're going to eat something. There's a guy outside Waitrose in Chelsea actually, who's written, before Christmas, he'd written a really nice Merry Christmas sign in chalk on the pavement. And believe it or not, the police was trying to give him a hard time for writing it. And I went up and bought him some food and said, well done, Merry Christmas. And the police gave me the nastiest look I think I've ever had from a policeman in my life. I know they're just trying to do a job right, but come on, have a bit of fucking common sense. You know, guys clearly not doing any harm. I suspect the wealthy locals of Chelsea took issue with him begging outside of Waitrose. So, but let's look after them during this cold period. If you get a chance to buy some food when you see them, you can spare a bit of cash, do it. May ask for money, but food is better, or drink, because you just don't know what they're going to spend it on, to be honest. And at least you know they're going to be able to eat and survive another night. So anyway, sorry, I'm going to stop lecturing you now. I know some people probably think, oh look, he's high and mighty, he's speaking again. It's just my thoughts when I'm on the run, that's all. I get a bit emotional about the hypocrisy of society sometimes. And I do wonder how these homeless people work. There's one guy I remember, I don't know, those of you who used to be in, I used to live in Balham. There was a guy who used to sing opera, a homeless guy, had the most amazing voice. And I do wonder what happened to that guy. What happened to his life? He was clearly a talented opera singer. Well, what happened to him to mean that he gave up on society, gave up on normal living, and decided, to live rough on the streets. And maybe that's the point. Maybe he decided normal living wasn't right for him, and street life was his version of normal living. But anyway, I should shut up now. And with the word street life, it reminds me of Randy Crawford's amazing disco song, which I might go and put on my headphones now, and I'll leave you alone to reminisce about Fanny Trollope and her amazing Georgian house in Hadley Wood. I'll see you later. Bye bye. Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable. Hope you've had a really nice weekend. It's Sunday evening here now, and I got up late today. I have to admit, for once in a blue moon, I overslept. I didn't set my alarm, and it was actually quite nice just to lie in. But it did mean, because I promised the girls brunch, our favourite brunch place called Miracles, did mean that I was against the clock to get my mileage in today. So I did it in two halves. So I did one half before brunch and one half after brunch. And anyone who knows about running with your stomach full of pancakes and bacon will know it's not the most enjoyable thing in the world. So, but that said, the run itself felt really nice. And the reason it felt really nice is I did it in one of my favourite shoes. And I keep saying favourite shoes. I've got a lot of favourite shoes. This one though is an older shoe that I've got,
that I've used actually for a marathon in Loch Ness, in Inverness, the Loch Ness Marathon even. And it's a firm favourite of mine, and it's the Prime X Strung 2. It's a real beast, tank, Goliath, whatever you want to call it, of a shoe. It weighs up there at 3, well, this one is a UK 9.5. I'm normally a 9, but I went up half a size in this shoe. I just found that it worked better for me. You know, they gave me a little bit more room in the toe box, going up half a size. I have some problems with the strung material, as you might have seen on other videos, catching the top of my toes. So I thought it would give me a little bit more room. The downside of going up was I have had some lockdown issues in this shoe. But like I said, it's about 314 grams in my 9.5. It's got a 50mm stack in the heel, and it's got a 43.5mm stack in the forefoot, giving a 6.5mm drop, which is just about perfect for me. And it means that I get a hell of a lot of foam under my forefoot where I land. And luckily for me in this shoe, I land exactly where you compress the two plates. So this has got two carbon plates, one here, one here. And in the middle, you've got this really soft foam, which I believe is now the foam they're using in the Adidas Pro 4. And when you land, you compress the plates and it compresses the foam, and you get a nice spring back. So the design of this shoe kind of works for me. And despite it being a heavy shoe, I get a lot of energy return, get a lot of cushioning. And it's one of these shoes that I quite like to take on runs where maybe I've done a race the day before, but I still want to do mileage, but I don't want to do something that's going to be taxing on my feet, i.e. too squishy, something that's going to sap my energy. I'll use something like this because I know it will protect my legs, but at the same time give me loads of energy return, give me loads of pop, so it can keep me popping along quite nicely. The downside with this shoe, I find, for me, is the upper. I can't get a good lockdown in it. When I cinch the laces too tight, I get a bite at the top of my foot. I use the runner's knot, runner's lace loops, and still I sometimes do still not get a good lockdown. I've even put a bit of KT tape so that when I cinch the laces, there's another barrier there in between, and that helps. But by and large, it's not one of my favourite uppers, and I do have some issues with lockdown. It's potentially because I went up half a size, right? So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I either save my toes or I save my Achilles. And so the downside has been my Achilles sometimes is a bit sore in this shoe, but other times like today, it was perfectly fine. So it really just depends. But I can highly recommend this shoe as a shoe to do those kind of longer runs where you're feeling a little bit fatigued and you want something to give you a little bit of help along route. So today, talking about the route, when I went up through New Barnet, up to Hadley, so up some serious hills, up to Hadley, through the woods, out through near the Cock Inn, those that know Cockfosters, and then past Trent Park, didn't go into Trent Park this time, and then to the Miracles brunch place. And then when on the way after brunch, on the way back, I went up all the way to Hadley Common, so a little bit higher up, and then down through High Barnet and through New Barnet, and then eventually home. So I did stop at the gym on the way back just to have a final stretch before I did my last couple of K. So I broke the run up quite a bit, which is perfectly fine. And saw some interesting things on the way, not least an author I'd never heard of called Fanny Trollope, who's got a plaque, one of those blue plaques up in Hadley Wood. And apparently from the 1700s, and and that was kind of rare to have a female author in those days. So I love the name, Fanny Trollope. But I'll put a slide I'll put a little slide in this video on her so you can know a little bit more about it. But that's what I love about running, really. I like the fact that you can go past places and you've never seen this thing before, and then all of a sudden you just focus on it and you have a look and you think, wow, I've been running past that house for years and I had no idea about Fanny Trollope, right? And I guess most of us probably have no idea about Fanny Trollope, but you do now because you've been watching Runnable Ed. And as well as learning about shoes in these videos, we also can learn about, well, movies mainly, because that's my thing, but also obviously authors by the sounds of it, and really old authors at that. So this episode is to you, Fanny Trollope. The only other thing I'll say is this shoe can also, the Prime X Strung, not Fanny Trollope, can also be used in races. So I have raced in this shoe. Like I said, I did the Loch Ness Marathon in this shoe and it performed really well. I did it in 3 hours, 5 minutes, and that's not an easy marathon. And I got injured in that. So this helped me cruise along with a calf injury for those 26 miles. So I'm indebted to this shoe in many ways. And I look back fondly at how it helped me with the cushion, allowed me to cruise, gave me that propulsion, even though my legs weren't strong throughout the whole of that marathon. I was in bits by the end, but without this shoe, I'm not sure I would have made it, to be honest. And I can't say more than that. So you've got pretty versatile shoe. Even though it's 50 millimeters in stack height, it's quite stable. You've got quite a big base to land on. And see, and you've got this Continental rubber, which is very grippy, really grippy. So, and of course, it's completely illegal. You've got the double plates. You've got the 50 millimeter stack. So those with issues around that, perhaps you'd give this a miss, but like for the most majority of us mere mortals, that doesn't really matter. Plus, most of us probably wouldn't race in this shoe. Lots of reviewers, when this came out, really panned it because it wasn't like the first version and it was a lot heavier. They just didn't get the shoe. And what I think they missed the point with the original Prime X. It was such an amazing shoe, but it was limited in who could use it. You really had to have really good stability, really good ankle strength. Otherwise, you're going to go over on your ankles quite a bit in that shoe, and I did. Whereas this, actually, I've never gone over on my ankles in this shoe. It's far more stable and gives you almost comparable, if not sometimes I feel more energy return. You just need to break in the foam a little bit more because it's firmer because of the plates. Once you break in the foam, you start engaging the plates a little bit. It becomes an absolute monster weapon of a shoe, particularly down the long straights in races. So for me, a much underrated shoe. Yes, it's heavy. So what? We're not elite athletes. Actually training in a shoe that's heavy actually provides benefits in terms of when we start lacing up our super shoes that are super light, they feel super light, right? Because we've been training in this. It also provides cushioning, stability, as I mentioned, good grip. The only downside for me is the upper, which I don't get on with. Some people probably do. I don't. But apart from that, you've got like the sock. It's like a sock fitting, which I quite like normally. It's just how aggressive this strung material is on my toes that I don't like. And the lockdown is not so great on this. You've got quite a non-rigid heel counter and very little padding around the collar, which I normally like. But if the shoe doesn't give me good lockdown, I can't cinch those laces properly, then I've always got an issue, even with this kind of heel counter. So anyway, I'm rambling a bit now. All I want to say is if you're looking for a shoe out there that's you're gonna throw a lot of miles out, and it's going to give you a lot of energy return. Quite a fun shoe once you break it in. You shouldn't actually look much further than this. I actually think this is far more fun than a Super Blast. It's a lot heavier, but you can actually pick up some real speed in this, a lot quicker than I can run in the Super Blast, if I'm being honest. I much prefer to race in this shoe than the Super Blast. I've done a 20 mile in the Super Blast. It was absolutely fine. But if I want to do a quick 20 miler, this would be a better shoe as far as I'm concerned. But please put in the comments if you disagree. I just happen to be a big fan of this shoe. It was much underrated. Lots of the shoe tubers panned it. I think they were overly harsh. They didn't give it as much of a good try as they should have. I think the ones that I like the run testers, really like this shoe. You know, like Tom, I think in particular, he was a big fan of this shoe. So he likes Max Cushion like me. And that's the final thing I'll say. A lot of my shoe preferences, and you should know this, are down to the fact that I like Max Cushion because of some of the injuries I sustained. So those that don't know, I was hit by a car in 2020 and I broke my right leg in 3 places, my back in 2 places, and both shoulders. So from that moment on, I kind of planned to run marathons. I'd only run 5K before that. And you know, in order to do that, I had to look after my leg in particular. So I was wearing from day one Max Cushion shoes, really. So Nike Invincibles were the first shoe that I ran my first marathon in. And then from there on, I started looking at other shoes like the Prime X Strung original, like the Prime X2 Max shoe. And now I've gone on from there, and I love shoes like the Cielo. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like the Endorphin Elite 2. Loving the Pro 4 at the moment, all with soft, bouncy cushion foam. That's all I want to say. Hope you've had a great weekend, and keep supporting the channel. And I put my Strava link to this run in. Feel free to follow me on Strava. There's no problem there. And yeah, I'll give you another video tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.